fluoride overdose. Info wrong again. Anna Bly's fluoride fiasco has descended into a farce, with the premier admitting everything the public had been told about the recent overdose was wrong. Mr. Bly was last night forced to repeatedly apologize as she provided a third version of events surrounding the overdose of Brisbane water supplies 3 weeks ago. Yeah, they put way too much fluoride in it. People caught it. And now they're giving a third lie as to why it happened. Why did it happen? Well, they're trying to poison the public to dumb us down. That's the reality. And that being said, let's go to John in Canada. John, you're online.
Hey, Jason. How's it going?
Good, man.
Yeah, well, just comment briefly before I get to my point, or the reason I called, regarding the WHO. It's important to understand why they are threatening our humanity in this manner. When you get a influenza shot, they have to manufacture it beforehand. And as the caller articulated, the CDC is well aware of more than 800 variations. And, of course, it's practically infinite because it's a constantly mutating virus. But anyway, they're always right 100% of the time. And this is why they're threatening our humanity. They're fearful of a real man like me being able to isolate them with probable cause for criminal offenses and put them in prison for the rest of their natural-born days. It's understanding they give us the shot, and then all of a sudden everybody gets that exact strain of influenza and people die. Right? And they're 100% correct. They forecasted a year in advance, and they've been doing it for decades, and they've been murdering literally millions of people like this. And it's our fear of knowledge that get people to go, that's just that freaky caller who calls in occasionally. Don't pay attention to his scientific understanding of what our real suffering is all about here. And the reason I'm calling, banking. Do we want to solve the issue or otherwise? I'm demanding all your listeners to pay attention closely. Bankers do not cover our loans, my friends. I mean, you're bailing them out is irrational. It makes no sense. It used to be they covered 1/10, then Chris Cox changed it to 1/20th, then they changed it to 1/80th, and but it was just nonsense then, because then they could just fictitiously create capital on their books.
Yeah, isn't it like 1/100th now? And it's actually probably lower than that.
Yeah, but well, since the Glass-Steagall Act of 1999, none of these numbers really mean anything anymore, because they're able to connect the capital of commercial banking with Wall Street shysters and just put it in one big pool. And the Wall Street shysters are total fictions. You know, they sell essentially just pieces of paper with words on them that they type themselves, and they say it's worth $10 billion, this piece of paper. Well, how could it be worth $10 billion? Well, my friend's going to give me $10 billion for it. It's your pension money he's going to pay me with it, and I'm going to buy a $10 billion piece of paper from him, and we're going to pay ourselves commissions, and the bank is going to go broke. All the money is going to be gone into our own personal private pockets, and the TV is going to tell us we got to bail them out. It makes no sense. It's irrational. It's called extortion, actually. It's a criminal offense, and we would very easily, successfully prosecute them in a court of law if people understood that that's the case. I mean, similarly with 9/11, I mean, you're clearly one of the greatest voices on the issue, okay? But still, we're lacking severely. Bush closed 9/11 investigations. Do we want to apprehend the bad guys or not? Because you just say that to a soldier. The soldiers are cowards to not demand the arrest of those who did us wrong, who committed capital mass murder in New York City. You know, the soldiers lie to ourselves, lie to their families, because they're cowards. They go and kill these poor people in third world conditions. You know, I can't believe the stories that are coming out of the military just as of late, threatening or saying the Taliban is so terrible for using white phosphorus, and we have them documented a million times to hell, of them just indiscriminately bombing our families, our friends. For what? Why are you bombing Iraq? We had 100% complete access to go wherever we pleased without delay prior to the conflict beginning. That's the UN's official report, March the 7th, 2003. This is just before the bombing campaign began. There's no reason to kill people there. You can walk the soldiers in. Why do you want to, as the 3rd Infantry did, just shoot people at random? And when Buford Blunt, who's a Saudi Wahhabist commands the 3rd Infantry, when he was asked, why would you shoot up all these people indiscriminately? Like, if you remember the video footage, just shoot anybody in the car, shoot anybody on the street, whatever, just killing people. When he was asked, what are you doing here? He says, I just wanted to let them know that I was here. And guess what Buford Blunt's official job description was in Iraq? It was to guard Iraqi's largest weapons depot, Quaqay, QAA, and he left it undefended for looting. The whole place was looted, and all those weapons were used to kill American sons and daughters because we have no real leadership. We have people that want to pretend that they're freedom fighters, but they don't understand these issues. We have to respect people who do. Elizabeth Warren, she's the top cop. She's the she's the head of the Congressional Oversight Panel on the TARP funds. She says they're stealing. Well, she almost says that. That's the problem with all these guys. But she doesn't. She says that they're defrauding you. They're defrauding you today. They're committing a criminal act of fraud today. For every dollar you're spending, you're only getting 60 cents back in return. And the only reason she was able to find out that is she had to hire an independent auditor to come over and look at the books that she's been provided, because she doesn't understand the banking issue that well, and she's just the perfect person, perfect pawn for that position. But she was brave enough and honorable enough to hire an auditor to come in. This is what their findings are. And it's not on CNN. They're not demanding the return of all this stolen money. It's, as you know, are well aware. You know, it's I don't even know what the total is. I know it's over $10 trillion. It's just gone.
I think it's like a $14.2 trillion publicly right now, and that doesn't include the $1+ trillion we took from the IMF in that the SDR units after the G20. So God knows what it really is, man. And great call. I appreciate it, John. It was a really good caller. I mean, he ran the gamut on the banking system. Yeah, they're criminals. They need to be held accountable. My only fear is that they're really just going to completely collapse and gut the dollar. And by doing so, Canada, the United States, and Mexico will be amalgamated into a new currency. Because if the dollar drops, folks, again, it's still the world reserve currency. Russia has dropped it as such. They're using euros. China and Brazil are on the way to dropping it. Another couple nations drop the dollar and it's over. We'll need some other kind of currency. Believe it. It's the real deal. Let's go to Joe in Alabama. Joe, you're on the line.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good, man.
I just wanted to, first of all, I actually wanted to say that I really appreciate the availability of a floor such as yours for discussion, because I find it interesting, and I really enjoy that one of the major differences between you and Alex's show is that you allow more of a forum for discussion, and it's really intellectually stimulating, and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, my show is just a bit more of a caller-based show.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just because, you know, number one, I don't get as many guests, and number two, you know, I don't mind talking to people all day. I mean, I'd rather, you know, talk to people so maybe I can reach them or they can check out my information or I can be enlightened. There is by no means am I the smartest guy around. I'm far from it. And anybody who tells you, you know, I have the answers to everything and I'm the smartest guy in the world, you better beware, because they have some kind of a, you know, ego trip, megalomaniacal problem where they can't see a lot of blind spots. I'll admit when I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah. You know, and I consider myself a bit of a philosopher, and I have some ambition for talk radio, and I've been thinking about pursuing that. But I also wanted to put in a quick word about the two guys that called up and argued, and you have to appreciate both of their opinions. But the one thing you have to understand when things like that happens is it causes a tension, and it's not good, because it's like that of the forums when somebody comes on and they say something about religion, and then the next person comes on and blah 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 blah. That's not too necessary, but that's a good thing. Yet the first guy was trying to be correct in a literary sense, while the other was coming from a macho moral perspective, and you have to appreciate both of them. But my question for you is, I'm from Bama, and I just wanted to get your take if you watched the cops beating up that guy who got ejected from the car the other day.
Yeah, we actually did a report on it yesterday, and here's my take on it. As we showed the video, I said, hey, he did just almost kill a cop. He almost killed a cop throwing spikes down. Now, that being said, he was immediately ejected from a car that flipped over. All the cops saw the car flip over. He never moved. There was about 2 seconds in between the time that he hits the ground and the cops get out of their car and start billy clubbing and batoning him. If it had been one kick, one baton, you know, one billy club, and then it was like, hey, guys, stop it. It was not. It was at least 5 billy clubs, 2 kicks to the head, a few kicks to the body, some punches to the side of the head. The man is lucky to have survived the car crash. I've been in plenty of car crashes, but I've never been ejected through a side window, which this man was.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, if you watch the tape, because I'm from Alabama and I've been pulled over a few times, and we do have, I think we're the state with one of the best cops. We got some really, I've had some nasty experiences with cops. You know, I was at a church once and I wouldn't do what a cop said, and he like grabbed me by the belt. I was 14, and he picked me up and said, you know, I'm going to arrest you if you talk, and stuff like that. But you know, the cops here, they're wonderful. But if you watch the video, the guy literally tried to kill the cop. I mean, the cop would have been dead. He would have.
No, he did.
died.
Listen, I again, if you go and listen to my show yesterday, go check out the podcast, the YouTube.
Okay.
Immediately when he did